Cooking has seen countless trends come and go, but some old-school methods never lose their charm. Grandpa's 30 oddly useful food hacks prove that even the simplest kitchen tricks can make a big difference. From using a dash of cinnamon in unexpected dishes to clever ways of reviving stale bread, these time-tested tips can save you money, reduce waste, and amp up the flavor of everyday meals. They may seem a bit odd at first, but once you try them, you'll wish you'd learned them ages ago. Number 1. The cinnamon chili trick. It might sound unusual, but adding a tiny bit of ground cinnamon to chili is a total game changer that many modern chefs and home cooks praise. Just toss in about half a teaspoon while your chili simmers. This small amount interacts with spices like cumin and chili powder, creating a more complex taste with a subtle sweetness that balances out tangy tomatoes. Recent articles online suggest that this trick works best in both beef and plant-based chilies, and many people comment that it gives the illusion of a slow-cooked meal even if you're short on time. The aromatics of cinnamon bring out new dimensions in otherwise standard chili recipes, so it's a must-try if you're looking to stand out at your next potluck or family dinner. Number 2, toast your spices. One of Grandpa's favorite methods to make cheap spices taste fresher is toasting them in a dry pan. Warm a skillet on medium heat, sprinkle in your cumin, coriander, paprika, or whatever you're using, and stir them for about 30 seconds until they smell fragrant. Internet forums agree that toasting spices releases essential oils, which significantly boosts flavor without adding extra ingredients. Be cautious not to let them burn. Take them off the heat as soon as you detect that strong aroma. This technique can elevate rubs, soups, and sauces to restaurant quality. Number 3, a tangy twist for pasta sauce. It's well known that store-bought tomato sauce sometimes lacks brightness. A simple fix is stirring in a teaspoon of vinegar or lemon juice right at the end. Grandpa often reached for balsamic vinegar because it sweetens the acidity of tomatoes while creating a deeper, richer flavor. Modern cooking blogs emphasize that this acid at the end trick balances the sauce, eliminates any canned taste, and helps other spices shine. Some folks even reduce the sauce a bit after adding vinegar, intensifying its sweetness and complexity. For a bonus hack, you can also add a pinch of balsamic to any gravy or tomato-based stew to bring similar results. Number 4, upgrading canned cinnamon rolls. Pouring half a cup of heavy cream into the pan before baking canned cinnamon rolls might sound over the top, but it's an old-school trick that's making a comeback in viral social media recipes. The cream seeps into the dough, transforming standard rolls into soft, fluffy delights. People online rave that this prevents dryness and adds a subtle caramelization on the bottom, especially if you drizzle in a little melted butter, too. It's such a popular hack that many claim they'll never go back to baking cinnamon rolls straight from the can without this creamy twist. Number 5, mayo for tender fish. Spreading a light coating of mayonnaise on fish fillets before baking is a favorite trick that keeps them moist and prevents overcooking. The oil and egg in mayo effectively seal in the fish's natural juices. Articles discussing at-home cooking tips for healthy eating often mention that this method especially benefits lean fish like cod, tilapia, or even pollock, which easily dry out. The mayo can also be seasoned with garlic, chili flakes, or lemon zest to boost flavor. Simply bake at your usual temperature, and you'll see that the fish remains surprisingly flaky and tender. Number 6, a floury bacon secret. Dusting bacon with flour is an older hack that's picking up attention again, particularly in gourmet brunch discussions. By lightly coating each strip with plain flour, you allow the fat to render slowly and evenly, ensuring crispiness. Bloggers note that this also helps reduce curling and extra splatter in the pan. Make sure to shake off any excess flour and start cooking in a cold skillet. As the bacon sizzles, you'll get a delicate crust that's distinctly crisp without losing the smoky bacon flavor everyone loves. Number 7, brown sugar mastery. Keeping brown sugar soft and making your own in a pinch are two of Grandpa's top secrets rolled into one. First, if your brown sugar tends to harden, place it in an airtight container with a slightly damp paper towel on top, then seal. That extra moisture revives and prevents clumps, especially over long storage. Every few weeks, replace the paper towel for consistently soft sugar. If you run out of brown sugar entirely, combine a cup of white sugar with a tablespoon of molasses, then mix until evenly blended. This quick homemade version provides the same deep caramel flavor. Food blogs confirm that both hacks save money and a last-minute run to the store. Number 8. Lemon zest on demand. Dehydrating lemon peels is an overlooked approach that locks in citrus flavor for months. Use a peeler to remove thin strips of zest. Avoid the bitter white pith. Then spread them on a baking sheet and place in a low oven around 200 degrees Fahrenheit, 95 degrees Celsius, for a couple of hours. Once they're brittle, grind them into a fine powder and keep the result in an airtight jar. Many cooking articles mention that this concentrated zest is ideal for desserts, cocktails, or even dry rubs. It's a fantastic way to reduce waste if you have extra lemons lying around. Number 9. Ramen upgrade with egg, mayo, and garlic. Homemade ramen can be time-consuming, so Grandpa found a shortcut using common pantry ingredients. Crack an egg into a bowl, add a spoonful of mayonnaise, and grate in a clove of garlic. Whisk this mixture, then pour some hot broth from the cooked ramen into it while whisking to temper the egg. Return it all to the pot and stir. Online communities in Japan have long shared this hack, noting how the mayo's oil emulsifies with the broth, creating a creamy, almost tonkatsu-like soup without the extra fuss. Add scallions or chili flakes if you want a bigger flavor punch. Number 10. Stabilizing your cutting board. A wobbly board is risky when you're slicing and dicing. Place a damp kitchen towel under your board to create friction that keeps it from sliding around. Professional kitchen sites confirm this is standard practice among chefs, who stress that safety is crucial for quick, efficient prep. It's such a simple tweak, yet so many home cooks skip it. Once you get in the habit, you'll notice chopping tasks become much smoother and more precise. Number 11. Baking soda in boiling potatoes. Parboiling potatoes with a small pinch of baking soda is a trick that top-rated cooking channels often feature for achieving that perfectly crispy exterior once you roast them. The alkalinity helps break down the surface starch, creating a rough texture that browns beautifully. Boil them just until they begin to soften, drain them, then toss in oil, salt, and seasonings. Roast at a high temperature, around 450 degrees Fahrenheit, 230 degrees Celsius, and you'll get that crunchy shell and fluffy interior reminiscent of a restaurant side dish. It's especially loved for Sunday roast dinners or holiday meals. Number 12. Seasoned flour for roux. Roux is the thickening base for sauces, gravies, and gumbo, but a little seasoning in your flour goes a long way. By mixing in salt, pepper, paprika, or garlic powder beforehand, you infuse extra flavor right from the start. Food science discussions online highlight that heating spices in the roux can unlock their aromatic compounds. Keep the heat moderate and stir constantly so the flour doesn't scorch. This approach can transform an ordinary cream sauce into something much more savory and interesting. Number 13. Cornstarch in scrambled eggs. Whisking a teaspoon of cornstarch with a splash of milk before combining with eggs is a no-fail way to get unbelievably fluffy scrambled eggs. It helps lock in moisture and prevents the proteins from tightening too quickly. Reddit threads devoted to cooking tips point out that this tactic results in airy, tender curds, even if you slightly overcook. Add cheese or fresh herbs if you want more layers of flavor, and cook on low heat to keep everything soft. Number 14. Bringing stale bread back. Running old bread quickly under water, then crisping it in a 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 175 degrees Celsius oven is a reliable way to revitalize a loaf that seems destined for the trash. Culinary experts explain that the bread reabsorbs moisture and the oven's heat recrisps the crust. This hack is most effective with rustic loaves, but many people also try it with leftover baguettes or sourdough. As an extra tidbit, some folks use day-old bread under roast chicken, letting the drippings soak into the loaf, creating a crispy, flavorful base that's almost like stuffing. And if you have pizza slices that need a pick-me-up, heat them in a skillet with a tiny splash of water, then cover. It steams the cheese and recrisps the crust without getting soggy. Number 15. Carbonated pancakes. One of the most talked about pancake hacks online is substituting half your usual liquid with seltzer or club soda. The bubbles create little air pockets in the batter, yielding light and airy pancakes. Stir gently to avoid deflating those bubbles. Lots of cooking bloggers note that carbonated water also helps batters like tempura stay crispy. It's an easy move for weekend brunch that brings a professional flair to your flapjacks. Number 16. The MSG factor. Grandpa swore by MSG, or monosodium glutamate, to boost a dish's savory quality. This ingredient has garnered renewed praise in food science articles, which point out that MSG naturally occurs in products like tomatoes, cheese, and mushrooms. Despite old myths about headaches or negative side effects, the FDA confirms it's generally recognized as safe. A quick sprinkle, a quarter teaspoon per pound of meat or soup, can intensify flavors without oversalting. The trick is moderation, ensuring you lift your dish's umami profile without overwhelming the rest of the flavors. Number 17, smoking onions for extra umami. Smoking onions is a craft that professional barbecue enthusiasts champion. Peel them, throw them in a smoker at around 225 degrees Fahrenheit, 110 degrees Celsius, for a couple of hours. Or wrap them in foil with a bit of olive oil and place on a covered grill with wood chips. The onion's natural sugars caramelize under the gentle heat, resulting in a deeply sweet and smoky flavor. Some people mash these smoked onions into spreads, while others dice them into soups or chili for extra body. It's a time-intensive hack, but according to various smoking forums, the payoff is well worth it. Number 18, pickle power in mashed potatoes. Chopped dill pickles and a splash of their brine add an unexpected zing to mashed potatoes. The acidity cuts through rich butter and cream, while the crunch offers pleasant texture. Food blogs discussing unusual potato upgrades praise this hack for its tangy outcome. If you want a smoother approach, just add pickle juice without the chopped pickles. On a related note, if you have leftover instant mashed potatoes, you can also whisk them into soups and stews as a quick thickener. That's another classic grandpa trick for a velvety texture with minimal fuss. Number 19, anchovy paste for deeper tomato sauce. You might worry about a fishy taste, but half a teaspoon of anchovy paste melts seamlessly into sauces, offering a rich umami boost. Saucy recipe articles often mention that the glutamates in anchovies interact with the natural sweetness of tomatoes, making the final product taste more rounded. This also pairs well with olives, capers, or even a dash of epazote if you're venturing into Mexican-style sauces. Anchovy paste is shelf-stable, so you can keep it on hand for your pizza sauce, bolognese, or marinara. Number 20, cinnamon extract in desserts. Cinnamon powder can clump in certain recipes, but cinnamon extract distributes more evenly, especially in liquids like coffee, cocktails, or frosting. Just remember that extracts are more concentrated, so use about half a teaspoon instead of a full teaspoon of powder. Baking experts confirm that extracts give a cleaner, smoother finish without graininess. People also enjoy sneaking a few drops into pancake batter or oatmeal for an extra aromatic boost. Number 21, brushed biscuits. Right when biscuits come out of the oven, brushing them with melted butter and a bit of honey adds an amazing sweet and savory finish. You can do 2 tablespoons of butter mixed with 1 tablespoon of honey. Some folks online suggest topping it off with a sprinkle of flaky sea salt to balance sweetness. The residual heat helps the mixture soak into the biscuit crust, creating an indulgent outer layer without turning them soggy. This is a go-to method for making store-bought biscuit dough seem downright gourmet. Number 22, lettuce storage trick. Preserving lettuce so it doesn't wilt in 2 days can be challenging. Grandpa's approach was to store the head upside down in a container, lined with a dry paper towel, then seal it tight. Numerous blogs note that flipping the lettuce means water doesn't pool at the base, and the paper towel soaks up excess moisture, extending freshness. Swap out the towel as needed, and your lettuce could stay crisp for up to 2 weeks. It's a small shift that makes a big difference in reducing waste. Number 23, speedy caramelized onions. Traditional caramelizing takes patience, but steaming onions first can cut your cook time significantly. Place sliced onions in a pan with a few tablespoons of water, cover, and let them steam until softened, usually about 5 minutes. Afterward, remove the lid, add oil or butter, and stir frequently until they reach that deep golden color. Culinary tip sites highlight that this pre-softening helps break down the onion structure so the natural sugars develop faster. If you want to go further, make a big batch and freeze portions. Caramelized onions thaw easily for quick dips, soups, or burger toppings. Number 24, nutmeg and banana pudding. A quarter teaspoon of freshly grated nutmeg can make banana pudding feel instantly more sophisticated. The aromatic warmth complements the banana's sweetness, giving the dish a comforting depth. Online dessert discussions often suggest combining nutmeg with a hint of cinnamon to amplify the effect. Add some whipped cream on top, and you have a nostalgic dessert that doesn't taste one note. Just be careful not to overdo it. Nutmeg can dominate if you add too much. Number 25, mushroom powder as salt. If you're trying to reduce sodium but still want savory dishes, mushroom extract powder, or dried mushrooms pulverized in a blender, delivers big on flavor. Many nutrition-focused articles mention that mushrooms are high in glutamates, similar to MSG, helping to heighten umami without needing loads of salt. Stir a pinch into soups, sauces, and even stir-fries. Since it comes from whole mushrooms, you're also getting extra nutrients. Just keep it in a moisture-proof container to maintain freshness. Number 26, the knuckle method for rice. It's been a staple in various cultures for ages. After rinsing your rice, level it in the pot, then place your fingertip on top of the grains. Add water until it hits your first knuckle. This method consistently yields fluffy rice, whether you're cooking 1 cup or 6. While measurement purists might prefer cups, many people find the knuckle trick more versatile. Articles about cooking across Southeast Asia confirm that small adjustments might be needed for brown rice or sticky rice, but the principle remains the same. Number 27, crispier chicken with baking powder. This hack gained traction through cooking channels dedicated to fried chicken and wings. Combine a tablespoon of baking powder with salt and spices, then rub it onto the chicken skin. Let it sit in the fridge for at least an hour, uncovered. Baking powder changes the pH on the surface of the chicken and helps dry it out slightly, so when it fries or roasts, you end up with that crackly, golden brown crust. Make sure not to mix up baking soda for baking powder, otherwise the flavor might turn out weird. Number 28, mustard powder in mac and cheese. Powdered mustard has natural acidity that intensifies the sharpness of cheese. Online reviews for mac and cheese recipes commonly mention half a teaspoon of mustard powder whisked into the sauce before adding the pasta. The tang underscores the creaminess and keeps the dish from feeling overly heavy. Some adventurous cooks add a dash of cayenne or smoked paprika to build on that tang. It's a minor twist that makes a noticeable difference in flavor depth. Number 29, creamy pancakes with heavy cream. Swapping out half the milk for heavy cream in pancake batter yields a richer, almost custardy flavor. You're basically lowering the water content while boosting the fat, which prevents gluten from forming too aggressively. Food websites that compare various pancake recipes highlight that heavy cream pancakes brown more quickly, so keep an eye on the skillet. They come out fluffy with a slightly crisp edge. For an extra wow factor, throw a little vanilla extract or a pinch of cinnamon into the batter. Number 30, mustard pickle marinade. Whisking Dijon mustard with pickle juice works wonders for tenderizing meats like chicken, pork, or even tofu. Use about a 1/4 cup of Dijon and half a cup of pickle brine, adjusting the ratio to suit your preference. Many marinade guides point out that pickle juice is packed with vinegar, salt, and spices, ideal for breaking down tougher muscle fibers. The Dijon complements that tang, boosting the savory element. Marinate for at least 30 minutes or overnight for maximum flavor infusion. Some grill masters also toss in fresh herbs or chili flakes. As an extra note, if you're mixing up cookie dough for dessert afterward, try chilling it for at least an hour. Multiple baking blogs confirm that rested dough bakes into cookies with better texture and depth of flavor. All of these old-fashioned yet surprisingly modern hacks keep appearing in online discussions and recipe blogs, proving that Grandpa's wisdom still resonates in today's kitchens. Whether you're dealing with a stale baguette, planning to impress guests with velvety sauces, or just want to streamline your daily meal prep, these tips give you an edge. They're quick to implement, easy on your budget, and guaranteed to spark excitement in anyone lucky enough to taste the results.